Hi everyone, this is Connie, Mama of Dos, and I'm here with Elena. Elena, can you tell us a little
Hi.
bit about yourself?
Elena Flores of So Bonita. I am born and raised in Eagle Pass, Texas, and I currently live in Corpus Christi, Texas, where So Bonita headquarters is based out of. Um, I'm
And you've been
married
in Corpus how long?
since 2001, so 16 years.
And you're married. Did you meet your husband in Corpus?
I did, yes. I'm married to Gerald Flores of Taco Creative, which I'm sure you know.
Yes, we do. We know him.
So we're two busy, creative, crazy people. Yeah, we have
I
a lot of fun.
know, but it's fun.
It
So tell
is.
us a little bit about your So Bonita, how you started and why you started your shop.
I started I took my first sewing class in 2014, and my husband had got me a sewing machine for Christmas, and that's how it started. Um, so I just started sewing simple stuff. I learned the first thing I learned to make was a pillowcase, and so I was making pillowcases for everybody, and then aprons, and then I just slowly started learning some more stuff online and just reading blogs, and then attended some classes in Austin, and just slowly built the technique, because a lot of it is you see a machine like a sewing machine, and it can be very intimidating when you don't know how to properly work it. So I had to learn how to maneuver a machine, and it's something that's very simple, that I think is simple now. Um, and then the t-shirt line for So Bonita started when Gerald has his taco business, and a lot of the shirts he makes is towards the taco motif, if you will.
Right.
And I wanted a chingona shirt. I wanted a shirt to say chingona, and because I couldn't find what I wanted it to say, and so I asked him to design me one, and he did. And so I wore it, and it got a lot of positive feedback. So I thought, well, why don't I just combine the two? Why don't I combine the craft of sewing and a t-shirt line that's geared towards women, where we can empower and support other badasses, outside of or out in the world. And so that's how So Bonita started. And it's slowly evolved to this movement that I'm so proud of, where other women are finding me, and I'm finding them, and they're supporting my movement of wearing the chingona shirt. And, I think you'd understand where the word can have a really bad connotation to it. And I think that's something that we grew up with, I mean, like, I think I've mentioned before, my mother-in-law is like, kind of like, no, we don't say that. But to me, it's beyond that. To me, it's about women that are just breaking the mold, breaking barriers, doing things that they didn't think they were doing, struggling, but still managing to be successful and positive. Those are the chingonas that continue to inspire me, and I want to be a part of that movement.
So awesome how everybody's just embracing the word.
Yeah.
Whether you're Hispanic or not, like you're a badass.
Right.
And it's awesome.
And I think that the representation that Sandra Cisneros, the author, has behind her it also supports that chingonas doesn't necessarily mean that it's not a bad word. It's okay for a woman to be a badass. It's okay for us to be these frail people, but at the same time be these resilient, strong women that are conquering fears and conquering challenges, and just making sure that they're staying true to themselves. And I think that's what being a chingona is just being able to do all these things with knowing that there may be a possibility of a setback, but still staying headstrong in whatever decision or whatever goal that they have, in their personal lives. So right. When I told my dad that the chingona shirt was out and it was really, really popular, he's like, that's, that could be for like a really young crowd. And I said, well, yeah, but that's great. I mean, a young crowd is great, but not necessarily what it's all about. You know, I've had women that are breaking glass ceilings in their place of employment where they identify with that. I have one girl who is in the process of beating or is beyond the process of beating cancer. And so she identifies herself with being a chingona, and that's totally cool. That's what it's all about. So
right. And I think you stated earlier, we're overcoming barriers and our struggles. And the thing is that we get that. And I know I get that from my mom.
Right.
We get that from that older generation. Yeah. And now we're in that stage where we are overcoming these different situations. And the term just turns into something so empowering, I feel.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So is that like one of the things that keeps you going and like really motivates you to just keep doing what you're doing? Because I know you have a full-time job outside of So Bonita.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I actually have like 3 jobs. So you know, and it's just, for me, it's just not so much like, okay, I have a job and then I come home and I'm doing this other stuff. But some women like yourself, like you guys have families. I don't have that, you know. It's just our pets and my husband. And so I don't know what that extra layer is. I can't identify with it. So when I see women that are multitasking with jobs and kids, it's like, oh my God, that's so much. I'm tired at 5 o'clock. I don't know how you guys do it, you know, and really I find strength in that. Like, I'm like, you know what? I got to get home. I got to iron some fabric. I got to cut some stuff up or whatever. And so those are the things that keep me going, is those women that are just always at it. And I don't have an excuse to keep on hustling. So yeah, right. I find motivation in everyone else.
Yeah, that's definitely something for myself that I think about having a 3rd child, and I'm like, could I do it? Like with a 3rd? No, like I'm already tired. I'll quit while I'm ahead because
I'm
down right now.
I'm tired without even one. So I don't know how you guys do it.
It's fun. It's crazy, but it's fun.
Yeah, I bet.
You definitely never sleep. Like I know you probably don't sleep, but you definitely
I don't sleep because my mind is constantly and I'm sure you're like that too. I mean, the to-do list never shortens. You know, and then you have these ideas. It's like, oh, that will make a great T-shirt, and so I have to like email myself or like text myself or text Gerald, and it's like, okay, what do you think about that? And so it's consistently, the gears are always turning. So. Yeah.
So that's my next question. Like, how do you come up with your designs? I know you talked about how you came up with the molcajete design that you just came out with. Your ideas for the stuff that you sew, the little bags you're doing right now for the like headphones and your makeup cases. Like when those ideas come to your head, do you write them down? Do you doodle them? How does that happen?
Well, the sewing stuff, what I do is like I'll teach myself a technique, or whether it's through a class or an online class or a blog I'm reading, and then I can manipulate it to be where it would be something that I think would be useful. And so if I think it's useful, then I'll practice with it. And so that's what I'm doing, like with the earbud cases, because I'm like, well, is it practical? Is it something that people will use? Because to cut fabric, to iron fabric, all that takes time. And so I don't want to create something and then it not sell. So, because my time is also an investment in this product. So, and when I get good reaction, especially like from my friends or from my family, they're like, okay, then I know that this will be a good idea. So, so I'll just start practicing some more, and then I'll give some away to my friends and family and just be like, this is what I'm working on. What do you think? And so they love it. Then I know that's going to be a good deal. But at the same time, I like to I'm always going to be standing behind the brand of something Mexican or culture-ish. That's who I am. That's who So Bonita is. I don't ever want to create something that's not going to relate to me or the culture. And that's very important to me, is to remain loyal to that aspect of So Bonita. And with t-shirts, oh my God, the list for designs that I have in my head, in my phone, and on the to-do list is insane. Because it's like Gerald always tells me, you have an idea, write it down. So the ideas come, and so I just write them down. I go over it with him because he's my graphic designer. So, which I'm so blessed to have.
I know.
Because he'll take out what I have in my head and put it on a shirt, and I tell him, like, okay, that's not what I have in mind, or this is what I have in mind, and so we'll tweak it, and then I know, okay, that's it. That's what we're going to move on with. So yeah.
Right. Do y'all work well together? Is it hard to work with him? I know, like with my husband, I always tell him I could never work with you. Like,
really?
Oh, your head off.
Oh, I love working with him. I love it. Yeah, we make a good team.
I think because you're both really creative.
Yeah.
You both have that same mind.
Right. And it's like there's a creative language that we have. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier about Sandra Cisneros. So what other kind of, I guess, like role models or just kind of other Latinas that you see yourself in and that you really identify with?
There's a lot of Latinas out there, past and present, that I think are pretty inspiring women. Being from Corpus Christi, or living in Corpus, Elena is one of the ones that I think everyone can relate to. Every girl, every God, I was 15 when she passed away. So I wasn't living here, but I come here and she's everywhere. And she's someone that I think will forever, ever live on. I mean, she will never go away. So for sure, her and her positivity, I think, is relatable. And I think that's what makes her so likable, is that she was down to earth girl.
Just really nice. Yeah. I mean, I never, met her, but, just from everything that I would see, definitely she was a very different and unique person.
Yeah. I had, when I was 15 years old, I had participated in this beauty pageant back home, and the ultimate prize was to be one of the trophy girls in the Tejano Music Awards. And
oh, wow.
I won the pageant, and I was one of the trophy girls, and it was the Quinceañera Tejano Music Awards. It was the 15th annual. And so, I went to San Antonio, my parents and I, and it was really, it was really, really cool. We got all the glitz and glam at the Elena studio with hair and makeup and, all the sequence dresses, and it was really, really pretty. And so we were backstage, and I met her, and I went up to her, and I told her, she was surrounded by people like press and paparazzi, and I told her, I said, you are so beautiful. And she was just always so happy. She was wearing that really hot purple jumpsuit with the jacket, and and so and she said, "Oh, mija, thank you. You are so beautiful too." And I just went, "Oh, that's so sweet." And so I went away because she was just warmed by all these people, and I'll never forget that. That was such and then she passed away. That was in February. She passed away in April.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
I know.
That's crazy. That's so awesome, though.
And I haven't told a lot of people that story. I don't know why.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. You have like such a close connection. Like, that's like the best ever. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people wish they were like, just there. I never got to go to any of her concerts. We lived in the Valley when she came out, and we lived in South Texas. So she was huge, of course. And then when she passed away, I like remember the day and everything. And I'm like, I never got to see her. Also having the connection to Houston, she came to the rodeo.
Oh, right.
And my cousin had tickets at some point, and I remember like I wanted to go, and he wanted us to come up and go with him, but we didn't get to go. So my cousin and two of my cousins, and then he took a couple of his friends because he had these tickets here at the rodeo, like the biggest ever event that she could have done. And like I totally regret it. I mean, I should have, whatever, begged my mom to bring me to Houston because, that way I would have met her. But that's an awesome story. That's so cool.
Yeah. And she was, I mean, her smile was so big, and she was the kind of celebrity that just did not hesitate to stop and talk to people. So you never saw the burden on her face. You never saw the burden of being a celebrity on her. She always embraced everything. And so there was never any negativity coming from her. That's the way, and I was just a split second that I was backstage and I met her, but I'm sure other people here in Corpus have a bigger connection to her. But so for her, sure, her and Sandra Cisneros, of course, and Frida Kahlo is the ultimate.
Of course, I love her.
Is the badass. She was a woman beyond years, and a true survivor of heartache and some really tough times. So, and I adore her.
Yeah, and just like we talked about, just the clear definition of a chingona, is overcoming those struggles, being yourself, overcoming your struggles, and just moving forward, and doing what you love. Because I think that's another theme of like these women that we are encouraged by is they did exactly what they loved, and they were themselves. Right.
So they were always true to themselves, and I think some women may struggle with that at this point.
Right.
It's hard. It's hard to do that, to recognize your true self. And but yeah, those women were super inspirational. I think they
are. So what's like maybe one piece of advice that you would give someone who wants to venture into some kind of a sewing kind of or even graphic design with your t-shirts? What's something that's maybe been really hard for you that you wish somebody would have told you?
Probably I mean, as cliche as this may sound, it's to just do it. I mean, put the idea you have in your head, put it to paper or put it to a to-do list, and just do it and have fun with it. Because when I was, prior to me doing this, I was at-home baker. So I had a successful bakery business inside my house, and I would run it in my house, and I loved it. And it slowly turned into something that I
Wait, what does this say?
Stopped liking, because I turned into a slave to the business. It was no longer something that I enjoyed. So that's one thing that I do now is if I'm completely working nonstop and I need a break, then I'm going to stop and take a break, because the last thing I want to do is for me to become a slave to this business, because I don't want to let it run me. I run the business. It doesn't run me. So that is probably the one advice that I can tell everybody is don't take your time with this and pace yourself, because jumping all in and then getting immersed in it is something that can backfire, and it can wear you out. And I didn't want that, Bonita. So I'm having a blast with this. You know what I mean? I come home from work. I work here. The weekends are some people look forward to them to party or to relax or go out. No. I'm working 7 days a week. So the weekends are my time. Do not disturb. Don't come in here. I'm sewing. I'm working, listening to my podcast. And
at that point, because it's something that you love, it stops being work. My husband tells me, he's like, you come home from work and you sit on the computer again. He's like, aren't you tired of it? I'm like, no, because work is work. And I come home and like blogging and being on the computer, editing my pictures. That's my time. I love that. So yeah, you want to love what you do, because you can get quickly burnt out and overwhelmed, and you don't want to do that to yourself.
Yeah. I mean, you know that. And I mean, at the same time, when I'm at my desk at work, I'm dying to get out of there, because I feel like it just kills my creativity. So I have to constantly, just keep on top of that, because I do want to get home and work. I do. So my time is precious, and so I gotta work.